Hello everyone, my name is Ben and I'm a lawyer in Singapore. Today we are going to discuss some unique laws and cultural norms in Singapore that every foreigner should know and should respect when visiting this country. Singapore is known for its cleanliness, safety and strict laws. First, let's talk about chewing gum or bubble gum. In Singapore, it is illegal to import or sell chewing gum except for certain medical types. This law was introduced to maintain the cleanliness of our streets and public places. So if you're a fan of bubble gum or chewing gum, don't bring it into the country. Next, littering, that means throwing rubbish on the streets, is taken very seriously here. People who litter are fined $300 for the first offense. Repeat offenders and people who litter from high-rise apartment blocks are sent to court and issued with a corrective work order, which essentially requires you to wear a neon pink vest and sweep the streets or sweep the beaches or the parks. A huge sign will be placed in locations where corrective work orders are taking place. The purpose is to shame these people for the crime of littering in public. This strict enforcement of the littering laws keeps our environment clean and pleasant for everybody. Always look for a trash bin when you need to dispose of something in Singapore. Let's move on to smoking. Smoking is another area with strict regulations. Smoking is banned in many public places, including restaurants, public transportation, and even certain outdoor areas. There are designated smoking areas, so make sure you look for a designated smoking area before you smoke. Violating this law can result in huge fines. By the way, vaping is illegal in Singapore. Do not vape. Let's move on to dining. Singapore is littered with hawker centers and coffee shops, which are essentially large open-air sheltered areas with a multitude of food stalls. When dining at hawker centers or coffee shops, always return your tray, which would include your utensils and cutlery and bowl and plates and whatever. You have to return the tray to the tray return point. If you fail to return your tray and you are caught, you will be issued a warning for your first offense. If you are caught a second time, you will be given a fine of 300 Singapore dollars. Public transportation in Singapore is efficient and widely used by almost everyone. Eating food and drinking is prohibited on the MRT, which is essentially the metro. It is also prohibited on buses, and this is to keep them clean and litter-free. You can be fined if you are caught consuming food or drinking on public transport. So it's best to wait until you reach your destination before eating and drinking. Jaywalking is also a no-go here. Always use the pedestrian crossings and wait for the green man before you cross the road. Jaywalking can lead to fines and is also important for your safety. Next, vandalism and spraying graffiti is a very serious offense in Singapore. The penalties are severe, which include fines, imprisonment, and caning. Yes, they actually whip you here if you spray graffiti on the walls. Respect public and private property to avoid any legal trouble. In 1994, a Singapore court sentenced an American teenager, Michael Fay, to be whipped 6 times with a cane for violating the Vandalism Act. Michael Fay was arrested for stealing road signs and vandalizing 18 cars over a 10-day period in September 1993. Michael Fay was sentenced to 4 months jail, a fine of 3,500 Singapore dollars, and given 6 strokes of the cane. He was supposed to be whipped 6 times. After an appeal from US President Bill Clinton, the Singapore government announced that the number of strokes would be reduced from 6 to 4 because the Singapore government valued the good historical relationship with the US. So let's move on to the unique Singapore crime of wounding the racial feelings of another person. Under Section 298 of the Penal Code, uttering words or sounds within an audible distance or making any gestures with the intention of wounding another person's racial or religious feelings is an offense which is punishable with up to 3 months imprisonment, a fine, or both. So, when you're in Singapore, avoid making any jokes or comments about religion or race, even if you think it's harmless. Finally, let's move on to spitting. Spitting in public places is prohibited, and offenders will be fined up to $1,000 for the first offense. This law helps to maintain public hygiene and ensures a pleasant environment for everyone. So, to conclude, Singapore is a wonderful place to visit with its rich culture and modern amenities. By respecting these laws and cultural norms, you can ensure a pleasant and memorable stay. Thanks for watching this video.